Hi, I'm Dave from Hardy Scale Models, and this is part 2 of my video build, my first video build for the Airfix 1/72 scale BAe Nimrod. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The other parts of the build will be coming up shortly as we go through. So here we go. This is the cockpit and the fuselage. So start off by cleaning up the fuselage when I've taken off the sprue. Sometimes I would use a knife for this, but I didn't want to sort of make the mistake of taking a chunk out of the fuselage. So using sanders, these thin sanders from Modeling Products. Starting off with a harsh sander, then going to a medium grit, and then using the buffer sponge that you can see in the top of the picture there. The blue side is, I believe 1200 grit. And then once you've done it with the blue side, you switch to the white side, which is a buffer, which will get the plastic nice and smooth again. And I just kept checking the sandings to make sure that I couldn't actually feel the old sort of joint from the sprue. And once I was happy, stop with that. The forward undercarriage proved to be a little bit fiddly. It's not difficult, it's just a little bit fiddly where you're trying to get the wheel struts into position. The easiest way I found to do is to do one side first, get them lined on the desk and just slot the piece into place, get them together, and then use the Tamiya extra thin cement just to get them together as quickly as possible, and then started by putting the other side on. It was a little bit fiddly, but just take a bit of time with it and it went together fine. So there, we just put one side flat down, get the pieces into position, and put the opposing side on top, and then just try to hold it steady, which proved a little bit difficult, like I say. Hold it steady and get the two ends on, and this then glued onto the bottom of the cockpit section. And here's a finished cockpit. Very basic cockpit, not much detail, so I haven't spent a lot of time on it because it will be hidden. But this is what it looks like, and the colours I used for the undercarriage are XF55 Tamiya Deck Tan and XF83 Medium Sea Grey. When it comes to the windows on the fuselage, there's quite a lot. I believe there's 8 on one side and 13 windows on the opposite side. I would normally use the PVA glue you just saw there, the Micro Industries Crystal Clear. But for what I've done on this one is I've actually used the Tamiya plastic cement, which I wouldn't normally use because, as you can see here, the windows have got a really good recess area. So I can drop those into the window slots and use the glue to just sort of fill in around the sides. So once you've got the windows in, like you can see here, you just put a little tap of glue on the side, and because it's so thin, the capillary action will just take it all the way around the window. And again, because you've got that large recess, I didn't get any misting or clouding of the clear plastic at all. It's actually gone around really nice. We set the windows very quickly, and there was no overspill and no issues. There was various little parts that needed to be glued into the fuselage on each side. Here you can see a very small window at the back on the left hand side, along with the windows, and on the opposite side there was a small piece of plastic that needed to be glued in position. Again, I've used the Tamiya extra thin cement, but I've used the quick setting one. I just wanted to get everything in position so I could get the fuselage sealed up. And obviously after this had to glue in the cockpit section and the sort of bomb bay section, which you'll see in a moment. But again, because there's so many windows, I decided not to go with the PVA glue. I've also had an issue where a couple of windows have fallen out once I've sealed up a model before, and I didn't really want to go down that route again. Didn't want to have to try and reopen the model to get the window out again, so, or try and fashion a new one. So in this case, I've gone for the extra quick set and cement, but again, like I said, only because there was quite a good overlap on the plastic itself. And as you can see here, there is no misting on the windows. They've gone in lovely. And here, just getting the final small pieces of plastic into place. I'll be 100% honest, I'm not 100% sure what this actual part of the aircraft was. I might have to look it up. But it's just a small piece of plastic needs to go in. Again, a little bit fiddly because A, the size of my hand, and B, just with the curvature of the fuselage. So put a little bit of glue on, slid it across into position, and it kind of held, and I just adjusted it from the other side. So now getting the cockpit itself installed into the fuselage and using the Tamiya extra thin cement, just making sure all the joins are touched up with the glue, which obviously will run along the seams and seal it all in place. The instructions do ask for this piece to be attached to the bomb bay before you put it into the model. I decided against this just for it was proving a little bit fiddly to get everything lined up the way I wanted it, and I wanted to make sure the fuselage was dead center. So I've put that in first on its own, and then I've come back and I've put the bomb bay section in, and again using the same glue, just attaching that at the key points with the glue before I put some weights in the front end to prevent it from being a tail sitter. The bomb bay itself, this whole section here, I've basically just attached it at the key points, at the fixing points. I haven't glued it along the length of the bomb bay. I'm leaving that unglued at the moment until I actually attach the fuselage to the wings, just to make sure that I've got everything exactly where it needs to be. And then if I need to glue that separate to the wings, that's fine, I can do that then. And one last thing, putting in the rudder, which I haven't glued. I've left it free to move. And then it was a case of the final step, which was to put some weight into the nose of the aircraft, which for this I'm using tyre weights, balancing weights for car tyres, and they've got a sticky side. So it needs 20 grams. I've put 30 grams in just to be safe, and they stick to the plastic, and then you can seal them in. Okay, so now it came to actually sealing up the fuselage. So I haven't used the Tamiya extra thin cement for this because I'm going to leave it for 24 hours. So basically what I'm using is the Revell Contact Professional glue, which is excellent for this sort of job. So putting it along all of the seams, not putting too much on, just putting a very thin sort of level on each sort of join along the full length. And then when I attach the two halves of the fuselage together, so drop it on top, just a quick case of lining it all up and making sure that I wipe up any sort of overspill or glue that squeezes out of the joins. You will get a little bit coming out, and it's best just to wipe it off straight away. So here you can see I'm going to use a bit of kitchen towel for this. And what I normally do, what I'm actually doing here, which I've realised is just off camera, is I'm just putting a little bit of Tamiya masking tape around the tail just to hold it in position. And once I'm happy that the aircraft is all glued together and lined up properly, I'll use a few pieces of masking tape just to hold the joints tightly together. And I'll leave that for approximately 24 hours before I do anything else to the model, just to make sure that it is completely sealed. There was a little bit of an issue here where it wasn't clicking together. And then we got that, it all of a sudden just clicked into place very nicely. And a final few pieces of masking tape just to hold everything in position. Try not to drop the model. and then this is the completed fuselage. So thanks for watching, thanks for looking at the video. Part 3 of the video will be coming soon, and that'll be the wings, undercarriage and engine sections. I'll hopefully have that up on the page as soon as possible. So yeah, thanks for looking at the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks now, bye.